Welcome here, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, to Season 9 of the Intercell Universal Orlando Cup Series Preseason Thunder here at Daytona International Speedway. You will see some of the drivers that are partaking in this series for next season. They're just going to show off some schemes, talk about some silly season that's going on by, and I am not alone here. I am joined by Jesse Turner, the driver of the number 78, and James Ellison, driver of the 003 there. First off, thank you guys for joining me here, and this is great to have you guys here.
Yeah, it's great to hear.
Absolutely, man. Ready to have some fun watching testing.
So, of course, just with the testing how it'll be a 30-minute session that's going to come on by. And like as mentioned, the drivers come on by. Nothing mainly just to show, just seeing some of the schemes, silly season. So, let's get underway with some of the drivers that are coming on out. Let's find the first one that came out on the track. That is Sky Comments. Now, Sky Comments has had quite a bit of a resume, I guess you could say. 2 seasons ago, he was driving a Dodge for his team, Sin City Motorsports. Then they dropped Dodge due to sponsorship. Sega Keith came in with the funding. Sega Keith goes away, and now they're back to a Dodge, and they got some big-time sponsorship thanks to the help of the funding from Sega Keith Motorsports. I guess you could say that funding money came in hand. Switches aboard as well with Dodge, as well as Bass Pro Shops, which that was one of the sponsors from the Sega Keith Motorsports group. Plan B Sales, and a couple other sponsors that are going to come away there. Sky actually is a former winner last season and also 2 seasons ago, so that's definitely going to be someone to keep an eye on for next season, no doubt about it. Hopefully he can have a breakout year next season. So we're going to try to see if we get someone that's been out in the course. John Art in the 05. Right now, John Art, he is currently listed as one of the drivers that's for a part of the satellite team for My Racing Toyota. Now, there has been no word on what the team will be yet. However, one thing for certain, though, is that John Art, he had an okay season. He got a win, which finally helped that 05 team. But, of course, and I got to ask this to Jesse, because I know this is the 3rd season that you'll be a part of. I mean, you've seen John race. You know how he's like, and what do you think is going to be the difference between him and the other drivers heading into next season?
Yeah, I think John Art's going to be a pretty strong contender. I mean, even though, it's not quite with the main team of My Racing Toyota, he's, still done great, on the main team. I mean, especially last season, he's always been fast, honestly, no matter where we've gone. I mean, I remember racing, side by side with him a few times, and, he's always one of those guys that he will hold his groove no matter how hard you pressure him. So, I think John Art, I mean, he'll still be in the same manufacturer. So, I mean, he'll still have that familiarity, with Toyota backing him up and longtime sponsor Zaxby's. So I think he'll still be doing okay. I mean, look for him to get a win or two this coming season.
So, of course, the lap times are going to really tick in here in a little bit. You're going to see some drivers that are going to come out of pit road and form into the group here. And speaking of teammates and all, RJ Bishop, who definitely did not have a good season last season. I mean, it was basically nightmare fuel. We'll talk about the other 2 drivers later on, but as they did a good season, they made the chase. RJ, well, unfortunately didn't turn out for him. Although, to be fair, this is Mercedes' first season altogether last season, and now their 2nd season in the series. I mean, 2 of their drivers didn't disappoint, but, I mean, for RJ, it definitely was something different for sure. Now, Bishop Family Racing will be full-time Mercedes in both series. However, this will be the key point there is for Cup, how will he get a win? Now, James, I got to ask you this because I know when you were running in the Xfinity Series, you had to deal with the Bishop Family Racing cars, in that time being. What do you think was the main difference between, how they were last season heading into this season for their change?
Well, I certainly found it pretty interesting fighting against them, but I gotta say, while I had a mixed bag of results of my own, they did pretty good in my opinion.
So we'll see what RJ, he is definitely looking for a major rebound. Remember, that was the Xfinity champion from 2 seasons ago altogether. Connor Meyer in the 51 returning to his team, and this is the captain there. Now, they had a couple of key notes come around. They were originally going to try to get Kyle Keith for next season, but unfortunately, they just, they folded. So unfortunately, the deal never came on by. They decided to keep the team, and here's Connor trying to do what he can for another season. One thing that Major League figured out for the team is the fact that he managed to get a win which now he has 2 career wins altogether in this series, and he made the chase for the first time ever in NRSL history. Excuse me there. And of course, for Meyer, with this chase run, he was doing very well to the last 3 races and basically just couldn't get that momentum. So one thing I will ask altogether, primarily to Allison here, I mean, they definitely got a good team. Who do you think out of all the drivers could be the one to keep an eye on?
Well, it's hard to say. I have to admit I wasn't paying as much attention to the Cup Series as I should have because I was focusing on the Outback Xfinity campaign, especially in the middle where I was, looking pretty good. But I'd say the group we're looking at here seems like so far they'd be pretty good, at least in terms of Daytona.
So, of course, plenty of things could still happen to the Meyer Racing team. 2 of their cars made the chase, which was Meyer and Phil Parker, which we'll talk about a little bit later on, too.
And also, you got the 2 of them together right there in the draft.
Ironic
05
enough.
and the 51.
Nice work by them to find their cars there. Nathan Hudson, back in the series after a season hiatus. Took a bit of a break trying to get some stuff taken care of, and now he is back in the Cup Series. Now, as slated for right now is that he's going to be with Flickard Racing for this season. He may look at getting his team back together for next season. As far as what else happens from there, time will tell. But it's great to see Hudson back, and I mean, Hudson knows how to race in these cars. His last win came over back in Season 7 at Iowa, who had a terrific car from there. Now, however, Iowa's not going to be back in the schedule. There's going to be one short track that will be here, which is Bristol Dirt, which is brand new to the schedule. We'll talk about the scheduling a little bit later on, but of course, we'll see how Hudson can do. He is backed up by Exalta, and give me a second to check here, McDonald's, Mobile One, and a bunch of Mario Kart 8 sponsorship will come around. You'll notice that the 8 in some of them will have the Mario Kart 8 font on there as well, so can't wait to see how that's going to be on the course. And here's another big pack right here, Allison Rae. Now, you're probably wondering, who is Allison Rae all of a sudden? Well, give me 1 second. Here's I'm going to have a cough here. Excuse me there. Allison Rae, if you remember correctly, was technically Johnny Gardner. Now, I hope in the main series I don't butcher the name by saying Johnny Gardner by accident, because, obvious reasons. But Allison Rae, right now, 4th on the board. That last lap actually proved really good. And, wow, look who's actually fast on the board is James Qualls, which we'll talk about in a bit. But Rae in a brand new number in the Universal Cup Series in the 66, so a brand new number that will be debuting along in the series. And another driver for that team will debut at another number as well, which is the 68. But Allison Rae managed to pick up a win last season at Thornton in probably one of the most unforgettable races because it was just amazing to watch. Keith Batson had a chance to win, hit the guardrail off the last lap in the third to last quarter. Thoreau took the lead coming off the final straightaway, and then Gardner at the time sneaking in, taking the win, and just one of the more unremarkable finishes ever. Almost made the chase too, and Jesse, I know you watched that race very well from where you were at, and I mean, you still were speechless. I remember you telling me that off the side.
Yeah, I tried. I heard the finish was amazing, but it's a shame that I couldn't keep the car straight enough to be around for it. I wanted to pay a visit to nature instead. But it's Allison Rae. Great job by Allison. Capitalizing on an opportunity, and that's one of the main things you got to look for as a driver. Just if anyone makes a mistake, bam, you got to be right on and hope it's your time.
Right now, Allison Rae is going to be sponsored by State Water Heaters and Crowley Foods, so we'll see how that 66 team will do this season. Jesse Turner in the 78. This is his second season in the Cup Series and third in the Intercell altogether. Hey. You see Zack Flickard trying to pass the 78, not getting any momentum right there. But of course, Aflac is being back in the sponsorship, no doubt about it, no question, the lifelong sponsor. Now, Jesse also is to be sponsored by Haas PPG Paint, which, ironic enough, a couple seasons ago, Gardner ran that scheme, now Allison Rae. And Big Time will make its debut as a sponsorship in the Intercell, which it's nice to see that we're seeing some new sponsorships as well. As I forgot to mention, State Water Heaters will also make a debut in the series as well. Jesse managed to pick up his first career win in the Intercell altogether at Zenjoltis and had a bit of a rough chase, but best season altogether. And now, one thing I got to ask you, Jesse, is, out of you, Yepes, and RJ, you definitely really showed a different side of you. What was the main thing coming into that season? Last season's, oh man, James Qualls got forced down the apron right there.
All right, boys, settle down.
Getting a little dicey there.
Yeah, anyway.
We ain't even in the season yet. We don't need to tear up cars. Come on.
Yeah, anyway, to answer Dylan's question, I honestly think it was just, the Bishop family racing team just always putting that extra amount of trust in me as a driver. And, when I drove that one season in Xfinity, I started off well, but then I had a few rocky points and didn't really pan out the way I hoped, missing out on winning. But I'm just thankful for the Bishop family racing team to, have enough faith in me, give me another shot in a cup car, see what we would do. And, just getting that monkey off my back and getting that checkered flag at Zandvoorts was just amazing.
Jesse Turner, guys, that is someone to really keep an eye on.
I want to say, it's, those kind of moments like that really help you out.
I didn't mean to cut you off, my bad. But Jesse Turner will definitely be the one to keep an eye on for sure. He definitely has been a fan favorite in the series, undoubtedly, for sure.
You talk about it, Jesse, with the season you were talking about. It makes me think about how things went for me in Outback Xfinity this past season. I had up and down times all the way up until Motegi and dominating win there. I was just of all the places for me to win, I won in the international tour for my first career race. I thought that was awesome.
See, that shows you how all these drivers really have fan favorites and good tracks right here. We will talk about Zack Flickard because he just came down pit road, so we'll wait a bit on that one. But let's see. Did we get Brett Pritchard? No, we didn't. Brett Pritchard back for another season with Meyer Racing Toyota. This is his second season with the team, and this is his fourth season in the Cup Series. Yes, I'm getting word that is the case. Yep, it is. Brett Pritchard, who right now is second fastest on the board with a 45.375. The Bang Energy Toyota, well, how do I say this in the perspective? It had a few good runs and a bit of a rocky start, and then Chase Race 1 to Orlando. I don't need to go in full detail on that one. Boy, oh boy. That was a crazy race weekend altogether. From what happened to Marty Johnson, the Xfinity race, to seeing Brett Pritchard hitting the kink and doing the tornado death roll, which we hadn't seen that since Season 2 at Pikes Creek. Pritchard, though, trying to look for a rebound there. Now, I know for Pritchard, he knows how to do well in the Xfinity Series, and he's done well somewhat with the Cup Series, but you got to wonder, though, for Brett, this is something that you need a rebound season. And I know it takes one season for that turnaround. And Jesse, you watched it happen in various series and all. One season is all what it takes, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure. It's just that, as a driver, you need to just keep the faith, keep the positivity, and think, all right, just, next week is another week. And, of course, with my first win coming at Zandvoorts, a super speedway track, of course, you're going to have a lot of luck that plays into it. But on the types of tracks that don't really rely on the draft, such as Twin Ring Motegi, like Allison's first win came there, you need to focus on the atmosphere of your team and just your abilities as a driver. When all those things gel together, those good runs will start to come around.
Interesting to see what will happen for Brett Pritchard. James Qualls. Well, how do I begin to describe last season as a whole? Let's talk about this. Now, originally, you're seeing that this scheme was supposed to be run for last season altogether. Last second, Castle GTX comes in, sponsors the 70 car for the whole season. They sponsor him and Joshua Osborne. Qualls gets a win at Michigan off the last lap pass off Keith Batson off turn 2 on a one-lap dash. Barely makes it into the chase after Thornton. All of a sudden, the chase comes, has an outstanding run at Kansas to be in the battle for the championship, being the points leader, and wins his first ever championship after what many thought would never be able to happen. He definitely had a Cinderella run altogether, and now you can say James Qualls being a champion. I still can't believe I'm saying that, and I've been around in the community for quite some time, but it certainly does feel different. And Allison, I know you're one of the younger drivers that's around here altogether in the community, and to hear about underdog stories, what do you think really has to be partaken when you head into a season like that? As he takes a solid drink, too.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch you asking if it was me or James who had to answer.
It was James. That's all right. I guess
I still took a drink anyway.
I don't know. I thought for sure I had things in the bag for a while in Outback Xfinity last year, and then the chase came.
Mm-hmm. You got to remember with
Uh,
Qualls, he's been a driver that knows how to make the chase, just couldn't seem to finish it. Last year was a good momentum swing, just missed out in the championship battle, and then this season he's got it done. But I do want to ask this one quick question to you, Jesse, because you've won championships in other series before. What do you think the one thing for Qualls outside of the 500 will be the one thing to keep an eye on for him?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the biggest task for Qualls to have is hopefully he doesn't make this a one-and-done championship. I mean, of course, Johanna Atwood Motorsports, they've been in the game for many years, many seasons. As he comes down to pit road, he's satisfied with his speed, and he comes down into the pits. But, I mean, of course, Qualls, he's got to be so relieved. And, for him to bring that 70 Castro GTX Chevrolet home to a championship, it has got to be gratifying. So I say that the pressure is going to be on him even more now that he's got that championship status. So he's going to have to back it up in one way or another.
So we'll see with Qualls if he does not have the championship slump. I hope he doesn't. So fingers crossed on that one. Scott Roush making his return to the Cup Series. This is actually one of 3 drivers, I want to say, that is making their return altogether. Let me think on that one there. 4, I think, actually. Nope, it is 3. It is 3. Never mind. It was 3 because we already mentioned the other one, which was Nathan Hudson. The other one is Zack Flickard. Or no, it is 4. That's right. There's 4. Scott Roush, though, ironic enough, he was a part of Archangel Racing in his first season, the 18. Now in his second season, the Cup Series, being in the 60. He is partnered with Jeffrey Finguy for Finguy Pastrami Motorsports there. He's going to come down pit road. And he's got himself Roush Yates Engines, Roush Performance, and Castrol. Scott Roush will definitely be the one to keep an eye on for sure when we head to the plate tracks, but for sure Talladega is going to be the one to keep an eye on, hands down. You already know it. Fingers crossed if he can actually get the job done. So
Finguy Pastrami Motorsports, a very delicious team name.
They are. Zack Flickard in the 96. That was one of the drivers we were trying to remember who was making their return in the series. Now, he, along with Navaro, took a season off to be team owners. Ironic enough, both had the itch to get back in the series. And prior to the season, or last season, the season before technically, Zack Flickard ended up getting 2 wins, including a win at the All-Star race. Made the chase, and then just kind of didn't have enough to battle for a championship, and just didn't have enough. And that's the 3rd driver we're getting to, and they're coming down pit road when we need to. Jesus. But Zack Flickard, who's going to bring aboard Exalta as well in the 96. They're also going to have Brandt and Target aboard for their team. So it's going to be interesting to see. And also, if you notice with Flickard Racing, Dodge is aboard their car. So they actually partnered with Sky Comets and Sin City Motorsports to bring Dodges on the course. And that's going to be good news if your name's Zach Rogers, because now you can have people to work with there. So that's a good sign, at least. So that's 4 Dodges in total, by the way, folks. Speaking of Angel Navaro, there he is in the 482. I know it's going to be really weird for many people, including myself, but the 482 is on a Toyota. Angel Navaro making his return. He definitely, I think deep down, along with Zack Flickard and James Qualls and a few other people, they want a 500 win badly. I think right now this may be the top of the list of the drivers who really wants it badly. And Navaro, who's going to have Z-Line, Old Spice, Rudy's Barbecue, GameStop, and Mikusk on board. I hope I pronounced it correctly because I always butcher that name. That's going to be aboard for the 42 this season. So we'll see what happens to Navaro. He had a good season the last season he was in. His last win came over at Sebring, which was race 29 at that time. We got less than 11 minutes to go, so we're going to kind of speed up the process a little bit here. JT Bryant, part of Mythical Racing. They have dropped Ford and Shell Pennzoil. They dropped from basically having Joey Logano colors to Denny Hamlin colors. So FedEx is aboard for this run, as well as FedEx Freight and FedEx Ground. Still upset there's no FedEx Kinkos in the process. Damn you. But JT Bryant, he is definitely going to be one to keep an eye on because, with being in Ford for that time, and now the switch to Toyota, you got to wonder what's going on. But he mentioned an end of an era. He teased it and then made it official. And, I want to ask this to Jesse because, I know you have your lifelong sponsor with Aflac, and sometimes you really don't want to break up a great relationship and then you make a big change like that. Do you think JT makes a big risk with that move, dropping Shell Penzo in forward, or do you think it's a good idea for him?
Ooh, I mean, of course, with switching manufacturers comes with that big risk. I mean, some sponsors may not want to go to another manufacturer. They may stay loyal to one. But, I mean, JT, I mean, that's all him. I mean, props to him. He was brave enough to make that move. And, just chugging along in this test session, he isn't in the top 10. But, I'm sure he'll get enough confidence that his car will be good in the draft come race time.
Right now, 14th on the board there. Bryant made the chase last season, and he ended up finishing in the top 5 in the points. He was 4th coming into that event, he was 3rd in that event before crashing out of that race, and definitely not the ending he wanted altogether, but he still had a fantastic run altogether. Let's see here if we can find anyone else we have not mentioned yet. Oh man, this pack really getting big over here. They may see a change on James Qualls' top position there. Phil Parker in the 15. We hadn't mentioned about him. And wow, Meyer Racing Toyota's got 3 other cars in this pack. Gee, many. Parker managed to get a win last season at the oh man, where did Parker win? I know he did, and I gotta look real quick.
I know where he won. And he managed to pass me on the last lap to do it.
I know, right? And I have to do my cheat sheet here. It was over at Pigs Creek.
Pigs Creek.
Right now, 11th on the board. Qualls still in the top spot, especially with this draft pack. So we're going to mainly keep an eye on this here. But Phil Parker made the chase, but oh man, his chase run was horrific. Did not have any good run or momentum whatsoever and could not get a rebound. And for Parker, I know he's not been the best of any chasers altogether, but as a team, you have to worry about for sure what the other drivers are going to do. So Parker will be having Cheerios on board just like last season. So Nationwide's just on board for the preseason Thunder. So we'll see what happens to Parker here. Like I said, we're going to stick with this pack because we're going to go to Quentin Moore in the 89 here, who's right now 7th on the board. Let's see if something changes here. And right now, not the case yet, but I think Meyer and Roush there, they may get a chance to get something done. Moore, who 2 seasons ago made the chase via by the LCQ, and last season, just nothing at all. Now, still without a win, this 89 team definitely is looking for some type of momentum. This is Moore's 3rd full season in the Cup Series. And Evans Gardner, now you have to remember, I feel like they're playing 3-dimensional chess out here. I really think they do. They're putting the good drivers in the lower tier series, they're putting the bad drivers in the top tier series, and yet somehow they're somewhat making it work? Question mark? I don't know. I mean, you've seen moves like this before, Jesse, being around in, the leagues for a while, and, what do you think really is going on with that team?
Ooh, would that be Evans Gardner you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they're taking big risks for sure. Flip-flopping drivers all over the place. But at least the drivers are getting seat time and experience in those series as they're needed to, and hopefully come Daytona Speed Weeks they'll be all right.
So I do want to mention this real quickly that even though he's not in the session, but S3 Motorsports, remember that this season here, Charles Sanford originally was going to be in the 0-3, but then due to some complications as well, they ended up bringing up the rookie James Ellison from the Xfinity Series to the Cup Series, taking over Sanford's ride, and hoping for some good momentum. Now, S3 last season has had probably one of the more interesting seasons altogether. They're now back-to-back Daytona 500 winners, and they also had Seth Cole make the chase with 2 wins, which lasted through about 24 races, I think it was, which is unprecedented there, as these guys are starting to catch up to another Packer here, so this may change on the fastest lap here. But Ellison taking over Sanford's ride, I know, James, you got to be thinking a lot of things in your first full rookie season in Cup there.
The pressure is going to be mounting, especially when it comes time for Daytona.
Especially a big impression altogether. So, hopefully things will go well for you, man. I hope. Fingers crossed, because, rookie impressions always are a key thing.
I just hope that I don't get a luck of the draw win like Open Roads for my first career one. But, of course, Open Roads was my second in Xfinity.
So, we'll see there. Kev Shearer in the 68, bringing aboard Chates aboard his machine. Now, originally he was in the 00 last season, and now he moved over to the other new number in the series, which is 68, so not bad for Evans Gardner using new numbers there. As that's another one of the drivers that was from that second pack earlier coming on down pit road. RJ Bishop was the only one that stayed out from that original group to come on down here. And Qualls right now still the fastest car in this session with the 45.330, which no one's come any close to that. Kev managed to get a win in the Cup Series at Open Roads. Probably something I never thought would happen. Broke a 100 race winless streak. And I mean just something unprecedented. And I want to ask this to Jesse, you know, when you race in a certain series long enough, and I mean, you try to get a win after a winless streak, it takes a lot on you, doesn't it?
Oh, without a doubt, man. I can relate as well as the over in the FBRL Sony Cup Series. I waited 101 races before my first victory over at Homestead in 2015. So, I mean, you know, Kev Shearer, I feel your frustration, but, you know, happy that he was able to end that winless streak at Open Roads and, you know, get a bit of a confidence boost back. And, you know, of course, you know, coming over to a new team of Evans Gardner and, you know, getting in a new number and a new sponsor, I think things will turn up for him eventually.
We'll see what Kev, how he's going to do. Right now, 14th on the board. His last lap was his fastest lap altogether. Just to quickly look in the session, 4 drivers right now have not cracked the 45.9 mark, and that is Diegopez, Scott Roush, JT Bryan, and Angel Navaro. Navaro's nowhere been near the pack, and he's just been with a 2-car tandem, so it's been a tough break for him. Let's see if we can find any of the other drivers that we have not talked about on the course. There's Diegopez. Now, Diegopez, originally in the preseason Thunder session, was going to have Miller Lite. Now he's going to be his familiar sponsor of NOS for this season. Yepes was the driver to first get Mercedes its first ever Cup win altogether over at Sebring. A huge deal altogether. And I mean, it was such a big milestone altogether. So Yepes made the chase, was actually did really good, and you know, because he was 15 back when the finale came, and you know, if Qualls didn't get involved in any wreck there, you know, it changed a lot, but he didn't. And Yepes finished in the top 5 in points, but he had a fantastic season, his rookie season altogether. I know I doubted, and he definitely got the job done. And I'm going to quickly mention this real quick to Jesse, so because I know the time's ticking down here, but you know, when you saw your teammate win, that had to be a big deal altogether, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, and with that time of the season where me and RJ weren't really having the best of times, just we haven't been able to click with our runs together. I mean, Diego, he just shot right through and broke through for getting Mercedes' first win in the series. You know, obviously that's a huge deal. And, you know, just things like that, when you see things like that happen to your fellow teammates, you know, you just still need to feel good all around as we're going to try and team up together on the racetrack right here.
So we got less than 2 minutes remaining, so I'm going to quickly go through some of the drivers we haven't talked about here. Ember Ross in the 77. There's been a little bit of uncertainty going on with that team. Now, they did get a win at Indianapolis. Ironic enough, they know how to win at Indy for whatever reason. But there's speculation this could be Ember's final season altogether. I'm not too sure what will happen, but we'll see what happens in the Archangel Racing Camp. They definitely got a lot of questions going around. They did bring in Brian James to take over Tim Fiegel's spot. And Tim Fiegel's sponsorship went over to the 77 team. So it's going to be weird and interesting to see how the 77 sponsorship is going to work out there. But Ember Ross definitely going to be a driver to keep an eye on. Possibly last season. I don't know. We'll see, though. And I believe, just double checking here, as you're seeing drivers continue out here and see if we have documented all the drivers. I am pretty certain there we did. From what I'm seeing here.
And I do want to mention one thing, and with how good Diego was able to do in the chase last season, you know, getting that one win and being able to stay strong during the chase and get a top 5 points finish. I mean, with James Ellison hooking up with a team like S3 Motorsports, you know, maybe that he could get that same kind of fortune too.
So we shall see what will happen coming into next season. So it's going to be a big one for sure. As you're seeing, Yepes is going to come on down. There's about another 24 seconds, so we will stick with James Qualls for the time being. Now, when these drivers cross the line before that 0 mark, they're basically going to finish that lap that they're on. But if they cross the line after the 0 mark, that lap will not count. So we're going to wait on the final driver here, which I think that last driver is going to be Nathan Hudson because If you notice, JT Bryan and Connor Meyer, they're way too far back in. That'll be official, so eyes will be on Nathan Hudson in the 8, even though probably he won't get enough on the lap times here. Still, I think James Qualls will show as a champion. He's got the fastest car altogether. And just to quickly look here, now 3 drivers that are in the 45-second mark. And wow, Hudson just flew right by Navaro. You got to remember, those two have a little bit of a rivalry there going on. And once again, they're going to show it right there. That 8 car did not want to work with that 42 at any means at all. So we're waiting there as Navaro's going to come on down pit road. I don't think it's going to really change a lot for Nathan Hudson. But let's just see coming to the line. That last lap of his will be a 47.321. And wait for the official word. And now it is official. James Qualls, the fastest of preseason session number 1. So we'll showcase this right here. There's a look at your full rundown altogether. Like it's mentioned, Qualls the fastest on the track, Navaro the slowest. So, of course, that could change when we go to the second and final preseason session that goes around. So just real quick of other things that are to come around for the Cup Series and Xfinity Series next season. The International Tour is going to be expanded while the Canadian Tour gets dropped. So basically that Pigs Creek got dropped in the track list altogether, and that Mosport moves its way into the International Tour. Pukehoke is going to make its debut, as well as, let me look here, as ISM, and Bristol will make a return. Bristol will be under the dirt, and then ISM will be making its return since Season 2 altogether. Bristol actually was ran in Season 2 of the Xfinity Series and not a part of Season 1 in the Cup Series. So, going to be crazy. The Cup Series will make its debut altogether, and Xfinity will make its return in 7 seasons there. So, that's insane to even think about, but unbelievable how that's going to be coming on by when we take the green later on this season, which may be around February. We shall see what will happen from there. Maybe January. Who knows? But, again, take a look at all together there. I want to ask this to Jesse because I know he's been around with most of these drivers that's here. I mean, what were some of the ones that probably shocked you on the time chart there?
Yeah, I got to say the biggest shock for me would probably be Zack Flickard in that 96. I mean, with him, taking that time off and then bam, he's back already and he places 3rd in the times just behind Qualls and Pritchard. But, Flickard, even though he's got a little bit of time to shake off the rust, he definitely, is driving like he has none at all. So I say he's probably the biggest shock of the testing session.
And I do want to ask this to Allison because I know there's a few of the drivers that, you've raced with in other series and all, but who's going to be the one to really keep an eye on for you when you take the green flag at Daytona?
As a rookie, I'm definitely going to be watching out for the defending champ.
Definitely so. We'll see what'll happen all together. First off, I want to thank Jesse and James for joining me in the booth there. I know, a Jesse James joke right there. But thank you guys for joining me in the booth. I know, right? Thank you guys for coming on in. I appreciate you. And best of luck to both of you guys this season coming up there.
Anytime, man. This was fun.
Thank you for having us.
All right. If you like what you enjoy there, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you're brand new to the channel. And, of course, hit the bell notification whenever any upload comes on up on the channel. Other than that, we will see you guys later for more NSCRA Spectrum Cup Series that's going to come around when Race 11 comes out. I'm going to say it'll be Wednesday because, of course, if you've noticed, Thanksgiving is coming up as of the time this uploads. So, of course, there will not be a Thursday night upload, and it will be on Wednesday night instead. And then Saturday will be race number 12 for the series. Until then, thank you guys for watching. And we will probably back, probably a little close towards where race 17 and 18 will be for the Spectrum Cup Series. So right around there, right before the finale, of course. Until then, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys later. Until then, goodbye, everybody.